Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. It's your boy Kevin Thornton. You have tuned in to the Wellness Architect Show. Today is Monday, December 9th, 2019. And we're going to have an excellent show for you tonight. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone about next Monday show. It's going to be the men's roundtable discussion. The people are very excited. They've been asking a lot of questions about what it's going to be about, what we're going to talk about. They're very passionate about this subject. So, no, tune in. Ladies, tune in. Ladies, tell your husbands and your sons to tune in. So it's going to be an amazing show. With that being said, I want to introduce my co-host, Miss Lotus Riche. How you doing, ma'am?
Hey Kevin, I'm doing great. Good to see everybody. Thanks everybody for showing up today. We appreciate you.
So tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then give your motivational word of the day.
All right. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lotus Riche, and I'm Lotus Riche from Lotus Riche Ignites Life Coaching and Consulting. I am the CEO of that company, but most importantly, I love helping you to ignite and take flight. And I'm here every Monday with Kevin Thornton, the Wellness Architect Show. Amazing place to be. So, we are having a dynamic person tonight. But before we get started, I want to give you a word. Initially, the word was going to be gratitude. And then I thought about perseverance because I've had some technical difficulties. And as you can see, I'm out in the car. But guess what? I'm still grateful because gratitude is unequivocally the best attitude to help us, to help you reach our guest that's coming on, and just to get some of the great information that we're able to give out every Monday. So I wanted to say to you that no matter what your situation looks like, no matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, continue to press forward and persevere because you never know when just one word from you can help somebody. And you may have to do an interview in the car. You may have to do an interview out in the cold. But whatever you have to do it because you never know. You may change the very trajectory of someone's life and be grateful for whatever the situation is because gratitude is the best attitude.
Excellent. So I will give you the honor to introduce our special guest for tonight.
Awesome. There's so many things I could say about this young man here. This young man has a young daughter, and she was going to school, and this lady, I guess, called his house, and he wanted to tell her some things that were occurring with his daughter. And Kevin, oftentimes when people call your house and you don't know them, the first thing you're asking, why are you calling me? Who are you
Mhm.
calling? And wait a minute, how did you get my number?
Right.
And this gentleman, I don't know if he answered the phone like that.
Hmm.
I think he was very kind, but I'm not sure. So I'm not going to tell his story. I'm going to let Kevin and I stand by while Mr. Randy Smalls comes on and talks to us about his daughter doing this. Hi, Randy. How you doing? And welcome to the show.
Good. How you doing? I appreciate you all for having me.
Thank you. It's good to see you. Let's see what your shirt says. And things them. That's your brand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Um, it was a pleasure to meet you in person also last week. Thank you for traveling all the way to Atlanta. And I just wanted you to tell your story a little bit. I know something happened with your daughter, and
Mhm.
tell us about it.
Okay, so my daughter goes to school here in the area, Berkeley Middle School in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Um, my daughter and a few of her classmates thought it was funny to pick on another young student. So what happened was there was bullying and talking about the young lady. So the young lady mom got in contact with my wife via Facebook Messenger. At that point, the numbers was exchanged, and she called. When she called, my wife was speaking with her while I was in the bathroom listening to what was going on. So I got out of the shower and immediately ran to the phone. Uh, I asked to speak to the mom, but I didn't really want to speak to the mom. I wanted to speak to the daughter because I think as parents, we got to step in when our children do wrong. So what I did was I spoke with the young lady and I asked her why was the children bullying her. She said that they was talking about her hair, talking about her clothes, her shoes, her appearance. So I was saving some money to get my daughter some clothing. So what I did was I said I thought it was best for me to use this money that I was saving to go to my daughter. So the money I was saving for my daughter, I wanted to use the money for Ryan because my daughter was picking on her about her hair and clothes, and that's what the money was for. So I took the money from my daughter and took it and gave it to Ryan. And my daughter's punishment was that she gotta go with us shopping and help Ryan pick out these items that they was picking on her about. That's the gist of the story.
Wow. So, how did your daughter respond to that?
She was upset. She was really, really upset. My daughter, she likes to shop. She's really big on shopping. And I know as a parent, we try to provide and do what we can do for our children. And I got 3 daughters. So I saved money to do what I can do in order to help them. So as I was saving this money, she was getting a list together of the things that she wanted. But when I took it away from her and gave it to somebody else, she was very, very hurt and sad about it.
Wow. So, did she feel good once she actually went to the store with the young lady and help her get the clothes?
Well, at first, she wasn't really comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to teach her a lesson.
Right.
I wanted to show her that most people is not fortunate like she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted her to come and I wanted her to pay attention to what was going on because we got to teach our children life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So she was really, really hurt. But eventually she came around and she started to see and understand the importance of what I was doing and the punishment that she was getting.
So, this whole situation went viral all over YouTube and all that kind of stuff. How did that attention affect you and your family?
Well, it was good and it was bad. Of course, the good part of it is that the message was sent across the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was the main focus was that the parents take responsibility to what the children doing.
Mm-hmm.
The bad side to it is, of course, not everybody is going to agree with the consequences. But the overall it's a really, really good experience. We get to travel different places.
Status Network, Kevin speaking.
We get to see and meet different people, so it's kind of interesting.
Lotus Rich to call in to the show. But the show live now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm having a hard time getting on.
Are you on Facebook Live or are you going through the website?
Well, Facebook Live.
So are you going through Manifest TV?
It looks like I just clicked on a link that says Manifest TV. So I'm gonna say use app, and I guess that's what I'll use.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Sorry about that, sir. So, you were saying that there's people who may not agree with your tactics.
Right.
And
right. Yeah. I had some people locally from my area felt like it wasn't a need to broadcast what I did. And in reality, it was discussed between me and the mom because the mom felt like it was a good idea for me to post it on Facebook so that other parents that got kid bullies can see how to handle certain situations.
Right.
And then you had some local school teachers that was messaging me telling me that all I really did was made it worse for both kids because the other kids go watch it and say, "Oh, well, Rihanna daddy had to buy you this, and now your mama can't do this, and your mama can't do that. Somebody else had to do it." So it was kind of like a little negative vibe with it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, and I tell you this, since I did that, my daughter haven't had a problem, or the young lady did.
Okay.
So
I, so that's crazy to me that people would take a positive experience and try to make it seem like it's a negative experience, to where it's
right,
like, you know, the kids are going to go at her more because she couldn't afford it, but you had to get it for her. But then,
right,
but at the end of the day, that means that's something that their parents need to take care of.
right,
You
right,
know, and
right,
I think what you did was a positive thing because it's showcasing what we as parents are supposed to do when our
right.
kids are not, behaving right. And
Right. And
so,
I mean, us as parents, and I use that ever since this was going on. I used that slogan. I said, well, the parents got to take responsibility of what the children are doing, because I try to teach my daughter to have respect for herself and
mm-hmm,
respect for people around her. But once they go to school and once they get around their peers, they like to veer off a little bit. And once they veer off, the parent then got to step in, because if you're teaching your child the way to go and they veer off, then it's your responsibility to show them the importance of not doing this thing. And that was my basic point, was to show my daughter that what I'm teaching you, I want this thing in your brain as a child, because when you get older, I don't want you to grow up. I don't want you to be a bully now and grow up to be a criminal later. So in order
absolutely,
for me to, in order for me to do these things, I would have to sit her down and punish her. But I'm a firm believer that we don't have to necessarily beat our children.
right,
We have to we have to find ways and solutions around the beaten part, and take some away from them. So as a parent, I know what each one of my children's like, each one of my kids like.
mm-hmm.
So if they misbehave, I know what to take from them in order for them to get back to the place of where my teaching came.
So with all this that's happening for you and all the exposure, how's it benefit you as a person? You know, I know you got your brand now, so has that helped your exposure with that all that kind of stuff?
And then here locally, I'm a gospel comedian locally.
Okay.
But then I'm a really really strong advocate on bullying.
Mm-hmm.
I have events here locally about bullying, and I'm a part of like 2 or 3 different groups that targets bullying and criminal activities. I'm a part of a group called the LBC. That's Let's Be the Community. Cave is Communities Against Violence Everywhere. So I'm the founder of Berkeley County Beats Bullying. So this situation made me, I guess, a little more popular.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm invited to a lot of different events to have conversations with children
Mm-hmm.
about bullying. So yes, the exposure is out there now, and I'm getting a lot of phone calls about coming to different events.
Okay. So how was your experience on Michael and Sarah and Kiki?
But that was really good. That was my first time on national TV. My first time around anybody, celebrity type like that. So it was a really really good experience. Of course, my daughter came along with me, along with Ryan and her mom, and we really really enjoyed ourselves in New York. They showed us a whole lot. My daughter learned some things. It was her first time on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a lot of things that we learned in New York
Mm-hmm.
that I'll never forget. And I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Okay. So now with all this positive exposure, what do you want to do with everything you're doing to ride that wave of exposure?
Okay, so I was invited to Atlanta on last week,
Uh huh.
at the Tyler Perry studio.
Okay.
I had a conversation with Steve Harvey,
Okay.
and so I came back to my area with a different drive. What I wanted to do is I want to put something together here in my area called the Kids Cave, and at this cave, kids will be able to come and get tutoring, mentoring. We'll be able to sit down with the kids that's getting bullied and the kids that are being bullied and the bully. And we want to sit down and try to find ways to resolve issues. The same way I did Ryan, is the same way we want to attack this epidemic with bullying. So we want to have kids come in, and I believe if these kids is around each other more, bullying will stop because they know each other.
Right.
So I want to put together a facility here in my area. It's called a Kid Cave. You have like the Madden tournaments and a couple other events, the activities, so the kids can come together. And if they're around each other more, the bullying will kind of stop. So that's my next endeavor right now.
That's good. So what made you so passionate about bullying in the first place?
Well, me growing up, I was bullied.
Okay.
I had a really, really good friend of mine that my mom was a single parent of 6 kids. And going through school, I was bullied. I was bullied because one of my friends thought it was a good thing to help me during bullying, and that's why I'm passionate about helping others. That's why I'm passionate about attacking bullies, because I was bullied into.
Okay. Lotus, are you there?
Sure.
You got any questions?
Way back in the house. I hope you guys can see me okay.
Yeah, we can see you very well. Did you have any questions for him?
Well, I actually have a couple of questions for him. I just heard him say that he was bullied, and that was one of the questions about has he ever been bullied before? And so the answer is yes. But this was another question that I had for you, Randy. What was it like to hear the lady's voice on your phone telling you that your daughter was the bully?
I was devastated. Hearing another parent fitting for their child, I was devastated. Like I said earlier, I try to teach my children to respect themselves, respect other people. So if I'm teaching her one way and she's doing something different, it makes me feel bad as the parent. It made me reevaluate myself as a parent. So to hear the mom on the other line feeling for her daughter made me feel horrible.
Wow. Did you have another question, Lotus?
Yes. So from the perspective of being a dad, I got that. But because you were bullied before, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, being that I was bullied, being that I was bullied, it made me feel horrible because when I was in school and the kids bullied me, I know how I felt. I know the kind of pain it caused me. I know the different thoughts that ran through my head. I knew how I went home and pleaded to my mom and cried to the principals and cried to the guidance counselors about the different things that was going on with me. And the school system really don't attack bullying that well here.
Right.
And it was like that since I was in school. So when her mom called, being that I know how the school system works, I decided just to step out and be the parent and do what I had to do and do what I had to do, because I understand how if I would step up and do the right thing, then it would have never got fixed. My daughter would continue going to school doing what she was doing, and the other kids would continue doing what they was doing. So I felt like it was my responsibility to step in.
Status Network.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Trying to call the show.
Say it again, sir.
I'm actually trying to call into the show.
And what's your question for us, sir?
Actually, it's more of an introduction. I talked to Lotus Riche earlier.
Okay.
She basically wanted to try to kind of introduce me to Kevin, and just for some future things as well. But yeah, basically just kind of like an intro.
Okay. Well, I'm Kevin. So what's your name, sir?
My name is Matthew Hammond.
And what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes, sir.
I am a speaker, entrepreneur, business owner.
Okay. So
Well, Kevin, let me just say this. Hey,
uh-huh.
Mr. Hammond. Mr. Hammond called me a few minutes ago and actually got off, so that's why he's gone. But Mr. Hammond is very humble. He's actually the
Yes.
husband of
I'm doing
Dana,
this on the paper for Lotus Riche.
who uh, was involved in, she was taken because of sex trafficking.
Uh-huh.
So I told him about Mr. Smalls opportunity, and he really wanted to call in to make your acquaintance, and just to say that he understands from a male's perspective what you guys have to go through as fathers and as sons when it comes to being bullied, or even when people are taking women and young boys.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
So
So,
that's Mr. Ham.
Okay.
okay.
Well, thank you,
I
Mr.
can
Ham.
do, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna get your information from Lotus, and I'm gonna reach out to you so we can have you on the show.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. So, go ahead, Lotus.
So with that being said, I understand that you felt really bad because your daughter is representing you and you're raising your child to be respectful parent within the community. But also, what I'm hearing you say is it's a kind of a two-sided coin in that you were bullied.
Right.
And for me, myself, I was bullied before as well when I was growing up. And you and Randy and I had this conversation. And I shared some of the things that I felt and things that I've gone through as a young kid being bullied at school number 7 in New Jersey. So, my question to you, Randy, if you had to do it all over again, would you change anything about the way you received the call from her mom about the connection that you made with the family?
To be honest, I don't think that I would have changed anything. Um, I was reading a post yesterday. I was tagged in on Facebook, and it was a young lady in Florida that
Mm-hmm.
was her daughter was bullying another child in school.
Mm-hmm.
And they tagged me in the post. And what the young lady in Florida did, her daughter was uh, saving up some money for a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of her having a birthday party, she took
Mm-hmm.
the money and spent it on the little girl was bullying.
Mm-hmm.
So would I change it? No, I wouldn't, because
Right.
my story is all across the world. And
Right.
not every parent is taking responsibility. But to read a status like that on yesterday, I understand that there is some parents that got the message, and with the message, they're running with it, and by them running with it, is changing a lot of things within the country.
So, and that's profound. And I really want to say thank you for doing
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you've done, because that wasn't an easy thing to do, especially coming from the background of being bullied. You know, you had to kind of step up and say, look, I've been there before. Um,
Right.
it's remarkable, Kevin, that if you really look, it is taking off, and people are changing the way they deal with their children. Now, one thing I did notice, I saw a post, I think it was today, this young lady, her daughter was bullying somebody, but she was using a lot of profanity to chastise the child. And what would you say to that?
Well, let me say it like this, and I want to make it as plain as possible. The way our children respond in the streets is the way the parents are at home. Uh, if the mom, and I think I saw the video talking with the little child was being disrespectful at school, and the mom went to the school and spanked the little boy in front of everybody. I think certain situations shouldn't happen. If you paid attention to the video, there was a lot of other evidence that showed that it shouldn't have happened like that.
Uh-huh.
But if how I am at home is how my daughter's going to respond at school.
Right.
How my daughter is at home is how my daughter's going to respond at school. So it's us as parents to lead the right way and show our kids the right direction so that so if she would do what she was supposed to do at home, then she would never have to come to school.
Right.
Right.
And so and that's what I said. With my daughter's situation, it made me reevaluate myself as a parent because if I'm sending my daughter to school with the name brand shoes and the name brand clothes and keeping her hair fixed, that gives her the opportunity to pick at somebody else because she don't have to worry about the things that somebody else might be lacking. So it made me reevaluate myself as a parent because am I teaching my daughter wrong? Because school, first of all, is a place where you go to get your education. It's not a fashion show. School is not a fashion show. So if I'm teaching we want the best for our children. We want our children to have the best when it comes to life. But are we teaching our children wrong because we value them going to school, dress up better than the next one, but the next one can't afford what you can afford. So it made me reevaluate myself because if I'm sending my daughter to school like that and I'm giving her every right in the world to pick on somebody else because the next person don't have.
Great question for our viewers. I would like to ask some of our viewers to chime in, and unfortunately, the way I'm set up tonight, I won't be able to see you guys' posts, but you can text me personally, or you can shoot it into Kevin, or you can call our number. But I'd like to ask the viewers about what Mr. Randy Smalls just said. When we sending our kids to school, are we sending them like it's a fashion show so they are in competition, or are we sending them to learn? Because you are so right. So many of the children that come up these days, we sending them with the best of everything, and a lot of times the parents do it, in my opinion, because sometimes they didn't grow up with the best of everything, so they want to give their children the best.
Lowe's, your your Wi-Fi messing up.
And some
You freezing up. Okay, Randy. I'm gonna chime in while she get her web Wi-Fi fixed. For me, my thing is, I agree with you what you said. I think that's why a lot of the schools now are going to uniforms
Right.
because if you go to a uniform, everybody has the same uniform on, so then therefore there's no competition,
Right.
and no one can feel bad about it because I think um
okay, it just rebooted itself.
okay. I was just telling Randy that what he said makes a lot of sense. And that's why a lot of school systems now are going to uniforms because the uniforms it make everybody streamlined. Everybody have to wear the same outfits. So then therefore you don't have to the kids don't have to worry about being bullied by other kids by what they can or cannot afford. So I think just this incident itself shows why uniforms are important.
Right. And when I was coming up, I went to Catholic school and we all wore uniforms. But believe it or not, even in Catholic school, people are still in competition. So how do we rise above that? Because sometimes
But
uniforms don't do it either. They just don't.
right. This is my opinion. Here in Berkeley County, there is no uniforms in place. You can wear whatever you want to wear to school, and that's final. But then you go to a private school, and a private school, the bullying rates are really low because I can't laugh at you because of your shirt. If I got the same shirt on, I can't laugh at you because of the pants or the shoes you wear because we all wearing the same thing. So I believe if the schools go strictly to uh, the uniforms are 90%. I say 90% because the majority of the time that kids uh, are getting picked on is because of the shirt they might have, might be because of the shoes they're wearing. But it is so 90% of the bullying will cease if they go to the dress code.
So that begs another question. I'm gonna, it's two questions. I'm gonna give you the first one. So what is that gonna do to the economics if we go to all uniforms? Because then what happens is the retailers lose money. So do you think that's one of the reasons why people are not really pushing hard for it? Because
I,
retailers will lose billions of dollars.
I agree. I agree. I agree. That can be the reason, but the way we got to look at this thing is it is it more important? Is money more important or the future of our children more important? That's what we got to look at. Because if we talking money, uh, Michael Jordan got big money.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go and buy my daughter $200 pair of Jordans, but she go to school and go pick on somebody else that got on some shoes from Family Dollar. Who we helping here? Are we helping Michael Jordan or are we helping the children? So I think the children is more important than retail.
Awesome. What do you think, Kevin?
He he said the words right out my mouth. That was awesome right there because um, I just think we a lot of times we are putting too much emphasis on the brand names, and all we're doing is making these people richer, and they're not benefiting us not one bit. And so I think if with the brand names and everything like that, it's like to me we're making the kids start at an early age thinking that their self worth is based on these name brands. So I think a lot of times we start at an early age where these the kids start to believe that their self worth is based on these name brands. They have to have these name brands. I was watching Dr. Phil one day, and he had a young man. I think he might be a teenager, and he has his allowance is like $1,000 a month, and he spent $1,000 a month on clothes and shoes. And it's like, what message are we sending to our kids that you have to have these different names and different labels in order to feel a certain kind of way about yourself?
Right. Right.
And I think it goes back again to what Randy said about what he teaches his children at home, because a lot of times when kids go to school, they may have low self-esteem because they are picked on, they're bullied, and oftentimes the teachers will even pick on some of the students. So let's be real about that, because the child may come to school and their hair may not be as well kept as the next child, or because the child don't have the latest clothes on. So the thing is, it's hard when you send your child to school if you're not building them up, because when they get there, sometimes they're battling the students and the teachers.
Let,
So
let, let me chime in on that. I have a situation where it wasn't me, it was my brother. Um, and my father is more like Mr. Smalls. He doesn't play. And the teacher made a statement about my brother that was inappropriate.
mm-hmm.
And my brother went back and told my father. And he made an appointment and had an appointment with the teacher and said, asked the teacher, did you say this?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, that's not what I meant. She said, it's not about what you meant, it's about what you said. And she said,
Exactly.
and he said, now, you try to make my son feel a certain kind of way by what you said, and that's inappropriate as a professional, as a teacher. And I just think a lot of times if more parents is like my dad or like Mr. Smalls and be more proactive and not just hold like he held his daughter responsible, but we got to also, like you said, we got to hold these teachers responsible too, because at the end of the day, their job is to teach us. Their job is not to uh, make these kids feel any less than what they may already feel. And it's up to us if the kids come to us. Because my father was notorious for that. If my brother came back and said X, Y, and Z, this person did that, he was there. So then they already knew when they saw my father coming to school, it was going down. And I just think, and I just think in life, what I started to realize, in anything, people gonna try to do what they think they can get away with, and
Yes.
and that's even teachers. But if they know, okay, I gotta watch what I say and watch what I do around these two boys, because if they go back home and tell their father, he's coming to get us, and the principal
Yes.
ain't gonna, this principal ain't gonna want to hear it, and the teacher's definitely not gonna hear it. And so, I just think we gotta really start holding everybody accountable of their actions.
Yeah, I concur. I concur.
What's your thoughts,
And
Miss?
again, with Randy, I have another question for you.
Uh huh.
Okay. With all the publicity that you've gotten, I know you was on the what's that, the Kiki, um, I forget the other two folks that are on.
Yeah,
Michael Michael
Strahan and
Strahan,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Right, that morning show. With the publicity that you got from that show, what have you been able to do to doing, you were doing some non-bully rally. So what other things have you been able to do in regard to the bullying?
I was going to a lot of like church functions.
Mm-hmm.
They put together bully rallies at church functions and things within the community of the outside counties. So I was traveling a lot, doing a lot of talking to a lot of youth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like I told them earlier, I put together here in Locke County something called a kid cave, where the kids can come in and have conversations. Because sometimes it's hard for a child to have a conversation with their parent. But if they feel comfortable enough to talk to somebody besides their parent, we setting up a place where kids can come and have these conversations where they get mentoring, tutoring, they get the spiritual, emotional, and we want to have like a family type environment to get these kids comfortable enough to have a conversation. We're gonna also be talking to a lot of bullies and a lot of kids that's getting bullies, and we're gonna, I wouldn't say reward them, but we're gonna try to find ways to help them fight the bully. Whether, we'll find things that they're interested in and we'll try to put them in. Like I just recently helped a young lady. She was fighting with some of her classmates, and I found out the things that she liked to do, and she liked to play baseball. So I found a local baseball team here, and she was on that team now for like the last 2 or 3 months, and her whole life changed just because she was able to play baseball, something that she enjoyed doing. So now the bullying stopped because she feel more like the people around her. The people around her enjoy the same thing she's doing. So I'm really excited about her and things that she got going on. And like I said before, the thing that I did for this young lady, I do things like this all the time. Uh, but this one just happened to go viral. I do a lot within my community, and everybody in my community can tell you I do a lot here when it comes to bullying. I help as much people as I can. So uh, this situation, the exposure came, but being that the exposure came, I never changed who I am because I was who I am before this. So I never
Absolutely,
changed who I am.
So we
absolutely.
have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
You said that you are doing something also for the bullies,
Right.
and and one, I want to commend you for that because a lot of times we want to bash the bully instead of looking at what caused the bully to be a bully. So the question for you is, what prompted you to reach out to the bullies other than I know that you were bullied yourself? What prompted you to reach out to them though?
Things, whether it's at home, whether it's at a basketball court, and what a bully do, a bully would, they know who they can pick with.
Yes.
So they can't pick with the bigger kids, or they can't pick with their mom and dad, so they bring it to school and bring it to their peers. So I
Yeah.
believe that a bully needs the same amount of attention as as the person that's getting bullied, because the person that's getting bullied is dealing with something personal, and the person that's being the bully is dealing with something personal. So we can't look at the situation like, oh, we can't help the bully. No, we got to help the bully just just as much as we help the kids that get bullied. So it's like no child left behind. How can we help one and don't help the other? Because both of them one day is going to help run this country. Both of them one day is going to be some leaders somewhere. So we can't overlook the fact that these kids are kids, and we got to teach them the right way.
So this is something I wanted to share with you as well. Well, I want your thoughts on this, and then I'll share my story. Do you think that when a person is bullied, that they themselves can become a bully and begin to retaliate toward the child or the group of people that's bullied him or her?
Yes, I agree with that statement 100%. And I'm gonna say this really fast. I got a really family issue going on right now, and I'm trying to tend to two things at one time. So I might have to leave out the room and go in the car. But
no problem.
But that happened to me. I was being a bully because I was bullied. So so yes, it's very much so possible. I got to the point to where my mom got remarried. And when she got remarried to a guy that was fortunate. He knew how to take care of children. So he took me and my siblings in, and we then started to have all the expensive things. He went and bought us cars, and he bought us clothes, and bought us shoes. So at this point, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm better than everybody else because I got what they ain't got. So at this point, it's like, oh, I got a car, and you don't. No, bullying don't necessarily mean let me go and pick on a person. It's a saying that saying sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt. I think that's one of the most untruthful things that was ever said. Because you can hit me with a stick today, and by next week, I won't feel it. But if you get somebody that is at their lowest point and you say the wrong thing to them, that word will stick with them forever. So you got to be mindful as parents, as children, whatever. You got to be mindful of the things that you say, because bullying don't necessarily mean let me pick on her about her hair. Let me pick on her about her clothes. Let me pick on her about shoes. No, your words will carry for years and years and years. It can be 10 years from now, somebody will see me, and I probably said something to them that hurt their feelings, and I will give you the bully. But they remember what I said. But they probably don't remember the fight, but they remember the word.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. And Kevin, I want to share this with you right quick, and I want to know if this has happened to you too, Kevin, because I had the opportunity to talk with Randy about when I was bullied, and I got to tell you, I too I didn't turn into the bully, but I went after the bully. Once I got a little older, I learned how to fight, and I could hold my own, and I went to the bully's house and called her out, and she was so afraid she would not come out. And now just imagine if my mom or my dad would have saw me doing that, it would have been over for me. But just imagine if her mother would have come to the door. And now back then, we did things differently. Back then, people respected you a little more and they called you parents. But nowadays, a person's parent will come out and fight you and beat you up with them.
Right.
Now, so we have to be careful, because if we don't help the people who are being bullied, guess what? They can turn into bullies themselves. Or, worst case scenario, they become so angry and so ashamed, they begin to use other methods.
Right.
And, they try to kill somebody.
So let me say this really fast. I got an issue going on with my daughter. So I might have to get off and then come back home once I get in the car.
Okay.
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
I'm fine. So let's give it like 10 minutes and I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
And Kevin?
Yes, ma'am.
We're no longer on my cell phone. Thank God.
Okay. You look much different now.
Yeah.
So how's everything? Are you in Augusta?
I'm actually in Douglasville with
Okay.
my extended family here. We've been busy all day. I've been at the office up here working on some stuff all day with the Africa tour. You know about
Right.
that. Um, so I'm here in Douglasville. I'll be going back to Augusta later this week, and then of course, I'll be on the show with you on Monday. So I'm
Right.
really looking forward to
So
that.
did you want to tell the viewers about the Africa trip that we're trying to do?
Oh, of course, of course. So, as some of you know, we will be going to Africa coming up in September 2020. We will be going to Ghana and several other parts of Africa where uh, Kevin, myself, and a plethora of other people are going to be going, and we're going to be speaking. And of course, it's called the Empowerment and Education Africa Tour. And that's kind of long, but that's basically what we call it now. So if somebody wants to chime in and give us something else to call it, we might consider it. So some of the people that are engaging to go, we have the Mighty Queen, as you know, many of you know, she's a playwright. She wrote the play Canvas. We
You froze again. Okay.
have with us, and Dr. Brooks, she's been on with us. She is the author of uh, the Pursuit of Purpose, and just we've welcomed several people. Also, Mr. William Jackson, the author of When Life Happens, just a plethora of people that are going to be coming along with us. And we're going over to help educate and empower people and learn from them as well. And of course, we'll be doing some sightseeing and letting our viewers know where we are. And we hope our viewers can chime in. If you are a speaker, an author, and you have something to offer and like to go on the tour, please get with us and we will see if you are able to go on the tour with us.
Yeah. So, we want to extend the offer to the people who've been listening. If you want to help be an agent of change, like we're trying to do, this is an opportunity. So you can always reach out to Lotus or myself, and more so Lotus, because she's like the spearhead of this, and we'll definitely get back with you, because it could be a trip of a lifetime for everybody to go back to the motherland. So it's a great opportunity. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to either one of us, more so to Lotus, because she's going to have all the information. But that's September 2020. So mark that in your calendars. And as of next week, it's going to be uh, the men's roundtable. And
I'm excited. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
um,
I'm super excited, dude.
man,
It's
they are
amazing.
they are excited. I got what's the director's name that we had?
Anthony R. Page. I reached out to Anthony R. Page too. He may be going with us to Africa as well.
Well, he will be on the show next week. He did confirm that he will be doing it. William Jackson is tentatively will probably be here. He's gonna be in St. Louis the day before, but he should be back in time to do the show.
Yes.
So it's gonna be very interesting. It's funny because Lotus, I've been uh, engaging with different people and asking them what their thoughts on the whole thing about millennials and our generation or the older generation, and everybody tend to say all the older generations, if they older than the millennials, say that they feel that the millennials are too emotional, have a sense of entitlement, and all that. And so my question that I want to pose to those who are not millennials, that's my generation and older, is it they're too emotional, or do we lack emotional intelligence?
Ooh, that's a great question. That's a great question. And I say it's a great question because a lot of times we can push the envelope to someone else and say, no, it's them. They're immature, or they, they're too emotional or what have you, when in essence sometimes the generational gap shows us the light of, we need to make change, and hey, this is how we need to do it, and maybe the millennials can kind of lead us and guide us in that way.
Absolutely.
So
And so then
yeah, that's
my
interesting.
other question would have been to um, my generation and older generation is we keep saying how they have the sense of entitlement. Now, what part do we play in that?
So that's another amazing question, because a lot of times we will blame, but we won't take the
Responsibility.
responsibility and say, you know what, we we caused that. So I would like for our viewers to kind of chime in and let us know what you think. And now that I'm online this way, I can go and look at some of our viewers. So give me a second, and I'm going to look at some of your responses. So go ahead and chime in. Do
Yeah.
you think the millennials are actually too sensitive? Or is it that many of us in our own generation have, kind of dismissed the intelligent or emotional intelligence that we need to have to kind of even connect with them? And if they are too sensitive or too emotional, what did we contribute to that? So go ahead and chime in, and I'm going to go ahead and look and see what you all are saying. So give me
And
one moment
also,
here.
if the listeners have any questions that they want us to pose during the men's roundtable discussion, feel free to put it in the comment section. So either Lois or myself can write it down and we go ask these questions next week, because we really want to get to the bottom of a lot of different things and try to not have a us versus them mentality, but us come together as a whole. Um,
Exactly.
because I think even with the whole too sensitive or too emotional concept. I posed this to a gentleman last night. I said, majority of those young men that's our millennials come from a single family household. So
Yes.
the father is not present. And so then therefore a lot of times the mothers are more in touch with their emotions. And so they teach that to their kids. So that emotional touches that the young man have, it was taught to him by his mother. So in our generation, a lot of us may have had our father. So how I am as a man and my love language and my emotional intelligence, I got it from my father.
Right.
You know? So but if the father's not there and present,
Hmm.
he's going to learn his emotional intelligence and his love languages a lot of times from his mother.
Right.
So
That's true.
do we fault them for that? What's your thoughts?
That's good. I'm going to trying to come up on your page now. Let me see if I can get it here. Let's go to manifest.
So yes, please send us questions, statements regarding next week's show, because we really want to dive deep into this, because I think we have to be the uh, the ages of change if we want to change anything in our community,
Yes.
how we are interacting each other as men. Because at some point, instead of us having an adversarial relationships with the millennials, we need to be able to come together, because they are going to be
Yes.
our leaders.
Yes, that's true.
They're going to be our leaders.
So so this is a question that we oftentimes get. Why should millennials want to follow our generation?
Good
Yeah,
question.
that's for you. That's for you, Kevin.
Why should they? You know what? I don't know. I don't. I think we think the way we were raised is the way is the blueprint, but there, but the reality is that blueprint has been revoked because when we were growing up, we were taught and raised to get a good education, go to college, get that degree, and get a good job. Now with
That's true.
social media, you don't really have to have all that and
Right.
still live great. So if we try to push that narrative onto them, we might lose them because they know this person that has become millionaires, and what that's something you have been doing your research on that are
Yes.
millionaires
Exactly. And
based off.
that's something that we wanted to share with you as well, our followers. We wanted to let you know that we will be having an upcoming episode illustrating our millionaire millennials. And we're going to be looking at what road they took to become millionaires. And it appears that a lot of them have taken the way of the internet
Right.
to amass their wealth.
And see, I think, and I would include myself in this, um, we have to be able to embrace what they have embraced if we want to elevate what we're trying to elevate. Um,
Right.
um,
I
we
concur.
we have, I think our generation have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Hmm.
We don't like it. We don't really embrace it. But for them, that's all they know. Now
Right.
it's a good and a bad part for it because social media
What
so,
road?
social media has prevented them to learn how to be communicators
Right.
because they communicate via social media, so they don't know how to communicate face to face. That's the downside of it. But on the plus side of it, they know how to use that social media to generate income and
Right. Exactly.
and live a life.
So, Kevin, I wanted to say this.
Hmm.
I see Jeff Martinet Jr.'s on. Thanks, Jeff, for letting us know about the headphones. Angela's on with us. Thank you for joining us. And Sandra, Dr. Brooks, she's on. Hello, Daisy. Um, Thank you for joining us. Hello, Tracy Kincaid. Good to see you. Matthew Hammond. Matthew Hammond said, children raising children. That's one of our problems, children raising children. And then Angela Elton said, I think we have equipped and enabled our millennials. She also said, I think we have equip them with everything we didn't have and don't allow millennials to experience for themselves. This is the reason they ask why, because we don't give them the objectives but expect them to perform. So, what do you have to say about that, Kevin?
I love it. That's true. It's like there. We were raised not to question our parents.
Right.
We are. They tell us to do something, we just do it. This new millennials, they're going to ask why,
Yep.
and it's not because I said so. You have to be able to explain to them why, and if it does not make sense to them, they're not going to do it.
Exactly.
And so, I think we want to raise our kids to have a mind of their own
Hmm.
when it pertains to everything other than us. So, have a mind on, do what you want. No, be your authentic self out in the world. But when it comes down to what I'm
Right.
saying, I want you to listen and do what I say, and that doesn't really work with them. I don't think. What's your thoughts?
So, is that the do what I say, not as I do
Yep.
mindset?
Yep.
Okay. But one thing that I learned from Randy Smalls this evening is that not all families are living like that. And by the way, Randy did text me back.
Mm-hmm.
A family member got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
so he may not be able to join back with us, but we definitely are going to have Randy back on.
Yeah.
Randy is actually going to be a part of the roundtable next week. So you guys, Randy will be on with us if he can't get back to us tonight, so that we can talk to him some more, and we'll definitely have him on a one-on-one with him again. So Randy, if you're listening, if you can hear us, you probably got your phone still on. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope your family member gets better. That happens when you have little kids. He's got a few little ones as well. So, but I think like what Randy was saying is that we have to set the stage, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing. A lot of us have millennials,
Mm-hmm.
but we have set the stage for them of how we want them to be. But the flip to all of that is once they get their mind made up that they're going to be prosperous, they do it. They're
Mm-hmm.
not going to sit down and 9 times out of 10 not do it. And I think a lot of people get it twisted and think that, oh, millennials are just lazy, or you can't tell them nothing. No, it's not that you can't tell them nothing. I believe that they want to hear what you have to say, but they want to be able to do critical thinking and do what
Mm-hmm.
they feel is best for them. Another thing, that I was on live the other night with Jennifer McNeil, and she talked about having intestinal fortitude. And that's another thing that I think many millennials have. They have intestinal fortitude. And
Mm-hmm.
so they move forward
Now,
in their
I had a
life.
conversation with, and it's not just our culture; it's across the board. And I had a conversation with a man. He's like, the, he runs a country club, so he makes a lot of money, and so he has kids that were well off because he had money, and so one of his kids works for Ernst and Young consulting firm,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a millennial, but now he's a manager, so he managed some of the millennials. So now he's starting to understand what the issues I think our generation go through with the millennials. And so he started to understand. And the complaint he had, and this is a millennial talking about a millennial, he said that um, they don't want to work hard. They just they want what they want, but they don't really want to work hard for what they want. He said that um, he started to see the understanding of the sense of entitlement because they want to make the money, but they don't want to work hard for the money.
Wow.
Um,
So, Kevin, I'm sorry, you still had a continuing thought?
no, go ahead.
Okay, because they about to light us up here. So Angie said, we teach, in quotation, what's in it for me.
Uh-huh.
And that's the millennial mantra.
Mm-hmm.
What's in it for me? And then Matthew Hammond said, school interference, government parenting through the school system is also a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another comment, Angie. She said, but sometimes the older generations don't know the benefit or can't articulate the benefit of doing certain tasks. And I have to agree
Mm-hmm.
with what's being said, because we have taught them what's in it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But also, one thing that I believe that the millennials look at is how our grandparents, how our parents, how many of us have worked so hard and so long, and we try to take the high road and get a regular job and do that 9 to 5 punch in and punch out, and at the end of the week, the average person still don't have enough money to make ends meet. So the millennial mindset is, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live from paycheck to paycheck. I think Dr. Brooks said the other day in our interview, most people are only one check away from being homeless, or
Mm-hmm.
many are one check away from being homeless. And that's my thought. Um, and I think the millennials with the new age of computers and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature, I think they have harnessed the ability to utilize, what God has allowed us to do through our thought processes,
Right.
through our own creations. So we've created a system where you don't have to go to an office to make money.
Right.
You don't have to sit behind somebody's desk or flip burgers or mop floors or be in the boardroom to make money,
Right.
because there's a plethora of ways to make money. And I welcome you guys that are out there listening, the millennials, the non-millennials. If you know ways that people can make money and not go to a 9 to 5. And one of the main ways is being an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
finding a problem and solving that problem. So if anybody wants to chime in, we'd love to hear what you have to say so that we can put it out and give people the opportunity to respond.
Right.
Oh, you got someone already, Kevin.
What's
But
up?
what did you want to say?
Go ahead. Go ahead and read it first.
Okay. So we got someone out of South Carolina, uh, and she says, when Daisy says, yes, when we grew up, it made us have a sense of responsibility and respect for things. It made us strong, and it made us respect life and the people around us.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to work hard or work for what you want instead of being given to you, like our parents, my parents raised us and we did chores.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad said that our job was to go to school and get an education.
Right.
So my parents would give us an allowance at the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted extra money, I did extra things. I think my first job, I was probably 7. I talked
Mm-hmm.
to my parents and I said, look, I want to earn some extra money. And there was an insurance company not too far from our door.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in after I got permission from my parents. I went in, I talked to the guy, I'll dump your trash, I'll dump your ashtrays. And lo and behold, I had a job and I valued it, and I didn't spend my money frivolously.
Right.
Because, that was extra earnings for me.
And I would say the same thing. I agree with what she was saying. Um, because like you, we had allowance as well. And we had chores to do to get that allowance. And if we wanted anything else, we had to work for it. So like you, at 12, I started working. So at 12, I was out there, cutting grasses, in the neighborhood to, get money. Because if I wanted certain clothes or certain type of shoes, he wasn't buying it.
Right.
She wasn't buying it. If you want a certain type of clothes, certain type of shoes, certain type of name brand, you gonna buy it, and you gonna buy it with your money. And so it made me appreciate the money, and now I understand from working hard myself that money don't grow on trees. And then what really got me was when I turned 16, I got a job at a hardware store, and I worked that job until I was 18. And
Right.
during that time, my father asked me, was I planning on going to college? And I said, yeah. He said, okay, save your money because the first tuition bill is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me make sure I worked hard, because that was my money that I'm spending. And so it made me realize, okay, when if their mentality was if it's your money, you're gonna take better care of it.
Exactly.
Better care of the clothes, better care of the shoes. If you're gonna perform better because you in college and this is your money, you're not gonna want to waste your money. And
Exactly.
and so that's what I got from how I was raised.
So, quick thing, I just got a text from Mr. Smalls. Unfortunately, one of their children, like I said, got hurt, and they had to go to the ER. but he sends his well wishes and he says thank you and he apologizes to the viewers, and we are definitely going to have him back so that you can ask him any of the questions that you want to ask him, and you can continue to send your warm wishes and your encouragement to him, because he is doing a dynamic work here in this country to help curtail bullying. And not only is he doing that in that way, shining a light on it, he's hands on. He's actually going out to the bullies and listening to them and talking to them to help understand why they bully and to try to get to the core of why they bully, so that he can also save their lives. Because remember, bullies are people too. And bullies are oftentimes people who have been bullied. And bullies are oftentimes hurt people. And remember, hurt people hurt people.
Right.
But hurt people don't have to hurt people.
Right.
So thanks, Mr. Smalls. We really appreciate you.
So before we get ready to log off, I want to say, I guess we have heard the listeners' cries. You know, the women, they're appreciative of the fact that I'm doing this men's roundtable discussion and we're going to talk to the men and this and that, but they feel some kind of way. They feel some kind of way. They want to know why can't they have a show for themselves. I said, so they have reached out to Lotus. And Lotus I'm going to be the only male in this conversation.
Yes.
And it's going to be me and Lotus, and she's going to get you guys, get the ladies together. So those of us, if there's any ladies in Atlanta, feel free to come. I know I'll probably ask Wanda Hollis to come down. So once Lotus, put the final touches on everything, I'll reach out to some of the ladies here in Atlanta, and then whoever she wants that might have to zoom in, feel free, and we're gonna have a women's roundtable discussion, and we can have y'all can.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to tell the ladies that have chimed in, thank you so much for talking about it and wanting the roundtable. I've got a couple of folks that have already talked about wanting to be a part of it. So if you are a person that would like to be a part of the roundtable, please, by all means, contact me. You can IM me on Facebook. You can also reach out to us right here on Facebook when we're live. You can call in and talk to us. Even before we hang up, if you want, you can call in to 470-251-4647. Again, that's 470-251-4647, and let us know that you want to be a part of the roundtable, and you'll get the information on what the topics are going to be. And we're not going to tell you what the topics are going to be on this one, but we might tell you what the roundtable topics will be for the ladies on next week when we host the roundtable for the men. And also, Kevin, Mr. Hammond, I talked to him today. He called in earlier. I think he would be excellent for this upcoming roundtable.
Okay.
He is coming out of Washington State, and he is the husband of Dana Hammond, the author of her new book that's coming out, and she's telling her story about being taken in the sex traffic, if you will, or the trafficking of people, because she never had to engage in sexual activity, but the fact still remains, she was taken.
Okay.
And she's on a quest to find her parents in India, and she'll be on her journey doing that, and we look forward to supporting her, and we're going to be having her on our upcoming show, and we'll also be having her husband. So with that being said, Kevin, what do you think about having Mr. Hammond on for the roundtable, zooming him in?
I love it. I love it.
Right.
The more the merrier.
Fantastic.
The more the merrier. So I do have, like, towards the end, Mr. Bruce Brooks has I think a 5-minute video that he wants to show. He's
Awesome.
he's creating a documentary, and it's the documentary between African Americans and Africans and Caribbeans. It's gonna be very powerful. I was there for a few of the videos that he taped. I actually helped ask questions for some of the videos. So he's trying to find some kind of way to give me some kind of credit for this. Um, but it's a way for us to uh, create dialogue about, how we see each other and the misconceptions we see in each other. Or this, or even sometimes I think we have stereotypes of them and they have stereotypes of us, and let's have that conversation so we could try to, you know, break those stereotypes and have legitimate conversations.
Awesome.
So,
So we got a couple of folks. Calvin just shared our stream, so thank you, Calvin. I think Calvin's in Pennsylvania,
mhm.
and Matthew Hammond is still on with us. He said he's ready. He said let's do it. He's super excited about it. He shared that with me today. We have Larry Pace out of North Carolina. He's on with us, so thanks so much. And I welcome Mr. Hammond. He can call in if you like before we get ready to exit. You can give us a call if you like.
Well,
And Dana Hammond, his wife, uh, oh, she's telling him I want him to call in. Yeah. So call in if you like at this time before we get ready to.
we got 2 minutes. So we
Yeah, we got 2 minutes. Two
so
minutes. I love 2 minutes.
so
I love 4 minutes. I love all the minutes because I like to make every second count, just like Jeff Martinet always says. Jeff Martinet Jr.
so give your final thoughts, ma'am, while we
So
get
my
ready.
final thoughts are this. Like I said, when I first got started this evening, we had some challenges because I'm out in a suburban area, um, and I tell you, my phone. I don't want to down a company that I have service with, but it sucks. But anyway, um, I couldn't get service here. Finally came in to the house and was able to get logged on here. And I started out by saying perseverance. Okay, you have to persevere no matter what the situation looks like, no matter what you're going through, by any means necessary. And Tracy Kincaid can tell you about that, one of the authors of When Warriors Speak or When Warriors Talk, God Listens. We had to persevere to do a video about a week ago. So no matter what it looks like, no matter what anyone says to you or does to you, persevere. If you know your purpose or you're trying to find your purpose, continue to march through no matter what happens. And then, even in the midst of bad things happening, learn to be grateful and still give thoughts of gratitude, because gratitude is definitely the best attitude because it will help move up your latitude.
Thank you. I want to say, oh shoot, we don't have time. We gotta
What's
go.
going on?
Huh? Huh?
We might have to
Okay.
say hi and bye.
Mr. Hammond, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing? It's Kevin.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I just kind of tuned in. I missed a lot of it. I kind of, have a question of, geared to you.
What's that?
Yeah, I said, how you stay motivated?
How do I stay motivated? Um, good question. I have a ritual that I do every morning and every evening that help me stay positive and motivated every day. So pretty much what I do is when I wake up, I meditate first, and then I pray,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll pray. I don't look at my phone. I don't turn on the TV. I want to set the tone of how I want my spirit to be every morning. I write in my journal of gratitude and show gratitude for waking up in this morning, and what I've been going, whether I accomplished good, bad, or indifferent. And then I will either read something inspirational, or if I'm driving to the gym, I'll play some kind of music that's going to be inspirational, that's going to feed my spirit and keep me motivated. I also have a crew of people that I text every morning, and I
Right.
text them a motivational video, and so that
Okay.
video not only motivates them, but it also motivates me, and so that's
Oh, I
why.
love it.
Thank you,
I,
sir.
I love your. I really love your show, and I love your the input, the ideals that you bring towards the audience. You know, it's very delightful, very inspiring, and I was inspired by Ms. Lotus as well as you. I heard so much about you, and I tell you, you know, it's an honor to get to talk to you.
I appreciate that, sir. Well, it's gonna be my
Yeah.
honor to have you on next week as part of the men's roundtable discussion. So I really want to hear your input as we try to connect with the millennials and our generation to empower us as men to be great. And
Okay.
and so I really want to hear your feedback and your thoughts in this whole situation. So,
Okay.
but so I'm between me and Lotus, we're gonna reach out to you this week so you'll know the formalities of what we need you to do, so you can have you ready for next Monday. Monday is
Okay.
so I look forward to talking to you, sir.
Okay. I look forward to it as well.
All right,
And be blessed, man.
you
My
do
dear friend.
you too.
Okay, be
Bye bye.
blessed and thank you.
Well, thank you for the kind words, Mr. Hammond, and I look
Yes,
forward.
we
I look
appreciate it.
forward to. Okay, that's him again. I can't. We gotta get ready to sign off. So, with that being said, I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. I did want to thank everybody. Huh? Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, he hung up. I want to thank everybody who purchased the book 20 Beautiful Men during Cyber Monday and also Black Friday. I am truly grateful for that. What I'm going to do is keep the special going through the Christmas holiday. So if you are looking to buy the book, you could buy it for $15 instead of $20. It will still be autographed by me. And so it'd be a great stocking stuffer for ladies, for your husband, your son, your nephew, for your friend, or co-worker, whoever it may be. It's a book that's going to inspire, educate, empower the guys to be their best version of themselves. You know, it's different stories of redemption, motivation, overcoming anything like that. So it would be a great way to get the 2020 way started by giving something to motivate them and empower them to be great. So with that being said, Lotus, I look forward to seeing you in person next week.
Yes.
My Mike, our super producer, is looking forward to seeing you in person next week.
Yes.
So
Hey,
with that being said, be great, be authentic, and be yourself. We're out. Peace.